Hi, and welcome to Headspace. I'm Dr. Ajetta Robinson. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor with expertise and certification in grief and trauma. Today, I'll be discussing why grief can sometimes creep up at night and what we can do to address and ease those feelings of loss and restlessness. Grief is a natural and normal response to loss, whether it's a physical loss or a symbolic one. While it's a universal experience that we all face in some form during our lifetime, the grief journey itself is unique and individual to each of us. For some, we might busy ourselves with activities or tasks throughout the day to avoid the weight of our grief, which is why our grief may show up at night. There are no more distractions to turn to when we're lying in bed in the dark. It might seem like the thought of a person who's passed or an experience of loss just randomly popped into our minds. But what we don't realize is that there's something triggering that. Nighttime is when our body wants to do its healing work. It's no coincidence that when we slow down and sleep, our bodies repair themselves, from regenerating cells and tissue to regulating the production of hormones and strengthening our immune system. And grief work is also part of our body's repair work. Grief truly is a full body experience, a psychological injury that has physiological and biological manifestations. One of the most important parts of grief work is bringing the feelings we suppress during the day into consciousness so that we can name what's happening and move beyond an autonomic response. An autonomic response, for example, might be when we hear a sound that startles us and our body immediately clenches up. Our body has coded this sound with danger, which triggers this fight or flight response. The same response might happen when the physical symptoms of grief get activated at night. I've had grieving clients describe their body as tingly or feeling like it's on fire at night. Some report an inability to stop the metacognitive, so thinking about what they're thinking about. And others report gastrointestinal issues or joint pain. This is why it is so important to cognitively name our grief, to help the brain differentiate between a stress response and a grief response. Doing so desensitizes that limbic system activation and allows the brain to relax and to know it is safe. The best piece of advice I have for those experiencing grief at night is to create a bedtime routine and morning routine. But let's take that one step further. I like to tell my clients to create rhythms. While routines are great for structure, they can sometimes negate what our bodies actually need on any given day. Rhythms, on the other hand, require that we pay attention to and are mindful of how we're actually feeling. They remind us to honor whatever is coming up in that moment. If our bodies are aching because of grief, pausing and addressing the ache allows us to connect to how our grief is manifesting. So keep listening to your body. The more attuned you are with it, the better you will become at acknowledging your emotions and understanding your needs. Try to take more pauses throughout the day to check your rhythm. Frequent mindful breaks will actually help you later on to be more present during your nighttime routine. And if you still have racing thoughts at night, carve out some intentional time way before bed to do a brain dump. Write down all the things you're thinking about, including what you didn't get done, and make a quick note of next steps. Which items on your to-do list are expectations from others? What thoughts are actually projections? And what thoughts are perhaps rooted in shame? You may think of something that you choose to do nothing about, and so give yourself the permission to freely do that. As you continue this journaling practice, my hope is that you start to discover your boundaries and how you want to protect your energy moving forward as you heal. What's key about this daily exercise is, again, checking in on your rhythm. By doing so, you can see the ways your grief naturally manifests and the ways in which we automatically try to push through it. Grief is not a linear journey, one anchored by time. There is life after loss, and you are not alone. I'm Dr. Ajetta Robinson. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions related to this topic, please send them over to askagriefexpert@headspace.com, and we'll do our best to answer it in a future video.